なんか今池の方が光らなかった？車のライトじゃないの
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Briareos Kerensky and welcome to the review of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, the latest title from renowned 2D powerhouse Vanillaware. This developer is best known for action games, at least in the West. Among their games from other genres, only Grim Grimoire is available outside Japan. Kumatanchi and Grand Knight's History never got an official English version, although Exit teased the latter back in 2012. 13 Sentinels is another non-action game from Vanillaware, mixing point-and-click adventure with real-time strategy. It is also the culmination of Vanillaware's non-linear storytelling, with the largest cast of primary characters to date and, I dare say, their most visually impressive game.
そうだ、録画光がまだ動いてる。
The game's title directly refers to the main cast, 13 high school students who find themselves entangled in a complex plot of giant robots, aliens, time travel, and a tiny bit of romance thrown in for good measure. The story takes elements from classic science fiction movies and literature. The War of the Worlds, Total Recall, Terminator, 12 Monkeys, Interstellar, 2001, and even Japanese kaiju movies. Like Odin Sphere and Muramasa, the story is told from the point of view of all main characters, each having their own experience and at times crossing each other's path. When that happens, repetition is kept to a minimum, with the same events introduced and then skipped in favor of new content. You don't simply go through someone's story and then move to another character. Several times the game will require to progress with one or more characters to continue. This makes things easier to understand and place in chronological order, as all characters start at a different point in time and their chapters might jump all around the timeline. Not much is downright explained, and there are no long information dumps to progress the story. Instead, you are given often subtle hints about facts and characters, and you piece together how things intertwine on your own. 13 Sentinels then might throw a wrench in your thoughts in the form of a small, but incredibly significant twist, or confirm your suspicions, again with unspoken actions or subtle details. This is 13 Sentinels' main strength, how it tells its story. Not the story itself, but how every piece and character fall in place without feeling forced. The way the game doesn't hide certain things, or how you notice hints that were there right from the start, but for one reason or another fail to pick up, or how mysteries remain mysteries until you have all the information the game wants you to have, keeps you glued to the game and makes you grin once you reach the end of a character's arc. I will not spoil the story here, first because I'm sure to have lost something due to the language barrier, second because it will be a disservice to anyone interested in 13 Sentinels. If you like science fiction and cleverly told plots, 13 Sentinels will not disappoint. However, what will disappoint is how the game is structured.
力を貸してほしい。あのロボットで世界を救うんだ。
There are two main portions, adventure and battle. Adventure is where you will spend most of the time, and the vast majority of the story unfolds here. In adventure mode you control one character directly, moving him or her around locations to interact with other people or items. More often than not, the game will automatically move you between places, and you are usually constrained somewhere until everything there has been taken care of. There are no puzzles to solve, the story doesn't have different endings, and you cannot get a game over or block yourself through a wrong interaction. Every character has his or her own flowchart, and the multiple branches would make you think of different outcomes, but those are in reality scenarios you have to see in succession to clear a chapter. When these scenarios have a common starting point, many dialogues and actions will be repeated, and the game gives you all the tools to make this repetition more bearable, with a fast-forward button to have the whole world advance, and the ability to skip lines you've already heard. Once you reach new dialogue or new actions, the game will cut those functions off. More than an adventure, 13 Sentinels' main part is a visual novel. To be honest, I thought I'll be disappointed and become uninterested in 13 Sentinels due to this lack of game, and I did approach it with a skeptical attitude, but in the end it won me over. There are barely any dead moments, dialogues are kept short, and even during the longest of them, you will have to interact again with the speaker to keep things from becoming too passive. It is a good approach to the problem of having a video game with minimal interaction and being mainly about the story, and all I can say is that you should persevere and stick with 13 Sentinels. The battle portion connects to the main story despite being a completely different section, and this is my main gripe with 13 Sentinels. The two are separate entities, with battles mainly acting as stops to progress with someone's story. Battles take the form of real-time strategy missions where 6 characters of your choice have to defend a time terminal from the Demos, the resident bad guys. The giant robots piloted by the 13 characters belong to different classes: close-range specialist, long-range fire support, aerial assault, and defensive support. Characters have a common set of skills based on the mecha they pilot, but also have their own unique actions and passive abilities. Attacks can be improved by spending meta chips, which are gained by completing missions and going through the story. Completing missions will also reward mystery points, used to unlock entries in the game's extensive archive. Attacks are improved one by one for every character, and the interface here is a bit too busy for its own good. Going through this phase is a tedious necessity, unfortunately. Friendly units can move, heal themselves, or recharge their energy points, which are used by almost every attack. All attacks have an area of effect and range, and can either target ground or air units, with only a handful being able to affect both at the same time. Self-healing is an elaborate mechanic in which the pilot will dismiss the robot, becoming easy target for attacks. Pretty much any attack will kill the pilot, prompting an immediate game over, so self-repair must be used carefully. The pilot will be able to summon the robot again once all of its HPs have been recovered. Units can act once the cooldown period of their previous action has expired, and if you are in a pinch, the time terminal can use a finite number of global support actions, like restoring HPs, energy points, or unleash an EMP that will push back and damage all enemies. Battles start off easy, but ramp up in difficulty rather sharply towards the end. The first 10 or so missions slowly introduce enemy types, which range from standard walkers, flying units, long-range missile launchers, rolling mines, and more, including larger units that can produce mob enemies. Overall, the battle system is well thought, but it's secondary to the adventure. There are 3 difficulty levels, and if you are only interested in the story, the easiest mode will allow to breeze through them with minimal problems. The archive is the third and last major section of the game. Events seen in adventure mode are all listed here and can be replayed one by one or arranged in a linear way, divided by characters. This is useful to fully understand how the story unfolds and fill any gaps you might have. Mystery points gathered by completing combat missions can be spent here to unlock entries which further explain characters or items' backstories. Just one advice: open these entries after completing the game. There can be huge spoilers.
川向こうにあるはずの新世紀 撃タワーがない。
This leaves us with the presentation and I don't really know where to begin. Vanillaware had to rework their development tools to achieve what's in this game, and it shows. The art direction is absolutely sublime, and I stand by my opening statement that this is Vanillaware's graphically most impressive title. Every location has a main color, which sets the mood. Rooftops in the early morning have a cool light blue shade. Sunsets are a kaleidoscope of warm yellows and reds. The more alien locations evoke H.R. Giger with their foreboding black and whites. You can almost feel the material with which every element is built with through simple yet masterful strokes. The same location will look drastically different and will summon different feelings based on the time of the day. Light sources shimmer from the background, creating highlights on every object and interacting with them, casting subtle shadows that blend perfectly with the painted backgrounds. Gaze at buildings in the distance and you will notice tiny little shadows moving along the windows. Every main character has a specific way to walk and interact with objects, giving everyone their own personality that goes beyond the voice actors or just looking different. 13 Sentinels is a gorgeous game to look at, and the slow pace allows you to take in every single detail of any location and character. Unfortunately, the battle segments don't quite live up to the rest, with units portrayed as simple icons. If you zoom in, you will notice that enemy icons kinda look like what their description shows, and the overall digital look battles have fits perfectly with the rest, but it's nowhere near as impressive as the adventure. Voice actor performance is incredible as well. Unfortunately, I can't go into too much detail or I will spoil the story, but there are some outstanding performances by several members of the cast, and I consider them on par with the graphics. Not in the way actors express a wide vocal range from screams to whispers, but how natural and truly emotionally connected everyone sounds. 13 Sentinels is fully voiced and it takes around 30 hours to go through it, with 90% of those hours spent in story mode, listening to dialogues. It's a testament to the actors' skills that they have been able to keep up with their performance for the whole duration. I tend to stay away from games with a heavy focus on story. More often than not, they forget they are games, and with an interesting and repetitive mechanics, I easily lose interest in the story. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is one of those rare instances where the story completely overshadows the lack of interaction, and it captivated me even when I knew passive storytelling would be the focus. Probably it is due to 13 Sentinels narrating an old-school science fiction plot when everything else seemed fixated with fantasy, post-apocalyptic or real-world stories, but the quality and passion poured by Vanillaware in this title is more evident than ever, and I'm pretty sure it will captivate everyone willing to give this title a chance. This review is based on the Japanese version, and at the time of this writing no plans for a Western localization have been announced. I really hope Atlus, or anyone else, will ASAP.
私は
I hope you have enjoyed this review and you'll stick around for more. Briarios Kerensky, over and out.